Hi, everyone. So, for this week, we're taking a bit of a different approach. There are no more discussion board assignments. For the next 2 weeks, you're going to have assignments related to researching and writing about secondary sources. But for this week, we're going to have a text that you should read called Gulliver's Travels. We're going to read the first book of it, where it's Gulliver's voyage to Lilliput. And as you're reading it, and you've probably had at least some engagement with this text because this idea of the tiny people and the giant man is throughout pop culture in so many different references. Even includes a Jack Black movie from a few years ago. Um, but I want you to read this text as a way of thinking about what Gulliver is trying to do. I'm sorry, what Swift is trying to do through the character of Gulliver. This is not meant to be told as a history, even though it might carry that lens on it a little bit. And it's not a true biography of a historical person. It is satire, it is fiction, and it is trying to do exactly what Sydney said that fiction should do, which is teach and delight. Now, as a satire, what Swift is hoping to do is that as people, we might see some version of ourselves in the Lilliputians, in the way that the emperor and his people react with other folks, and that's throughout Gulliver's Travels. So as you're reading through it, keep in mind that Swift is causing us to look at something just a little bit sideways so that we would have a better understanding of ourselves in order to teach and in order to prompt us to virtue. So if something seems ridiculous that the Lilliputians are doing, think about something that in Swift's world or even our world that might be connected to that same idea. How are we doing the same things that we find so ridiculous in the Lilliputians? I think that's what Swift has in mind, and I think you'll enjoy the text. Now, for the assignment this week, it is a scholarly journal summary. And the whole, what we're doing with this article is I want to do two things. One, show you the library database in just a very basic way of finding a scholarly source so that you can summarize it. And two, get you interacting with the source first and by means of summary. So what that means is you're going to go in and you're going to give the high points of the article. What is their argument and how do they support that article? That's the assignment for this week, and you'll see the information there on Blackboard. You'll also see a video posted there where I go and do a very basic search of the database to show you just how easy it is to find some of these sources. Now, going into next week, we're going to start interacting with these sources a little bit and comparing arguments. And as I mentioned in the comments on your writing assignments throughout the semester, we're going to be putting things into conversation. So more on that next week. So for this week, what you need to do is watch this next video about secondary source research, read the text, or work on that assignment. I would suggest doing those things, and then read the text thinking about satire and what ways that Gulliver might be asking us to think about our own life in terms of politics, in terms of religion, in terms of education and family and things like that. So I hope all that is good. I'm looking at my list right now to make sure I talked about everything. It's a little difficult because we're trying to make sure that because we're doing two different things now. But I hope these last 2 weeks will be engaging and exciting for you as you think about what your next steps are as a writer and as you move forward from this class. And this is designed not only to give you skills for an English class, but for really any class that you go to that's going to require a research component. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions or concerns. I'll talk to you soon.